The title of their talk is Going Live with Registration as a Service.
Yeah, we were just agreeing what that talk was. So.
Yeah.
We're running about 10 minutes late, and Ákos and I have got about 2 hours worth of material. So we've tried to divide this up into three. I'm going to talk about some of the work we've done at GSK to get to the point. Ákos is going to introduce the product, and then a live demo. So we want to leave room for the live demo, so I'm going to try and cover my slides in 5 or 6 minutes. So let's go to the first slide, Ákos. So I'll talk briefly about how we got to where we are. We keep calling this registration as a service, and our initial project was looking for a fully hosted service. We didn't get there, so why not, and where are we now? So what do we do instead? How we then began this relationship with ChemAxon to turn what we had into a product, and then what do we do now? Because I'll do the big reveal now. The product is live. We are using the ChemAxon registration product as our sole small molecule registration system now. What are our short-term plans? This whole collection of issues we've had moving to production, I'm not going to cover those. As I said, we'll talk about those in the bar if necessary, and there are some slides. Most of them were nothing to do with the registration tool. They're all our legacy downstream systems which have been in place for the last 20 years causing problems. And then we're next. So where did we start? A few years ago, we, like everyone else in the pharma industry, had a huge cost-cutting exercise. We looked across our whole portfolio of products and realised we had 20 of everything. How do we get to one of everything? I was involved in that whole strategy for the chemistry space. The existing registration system had been in place for 15, 20 years. It was very difficult to integrate with. It was running on legacy software. We didn't have a very good support model. Contracts were running out. And we were also, at the time, we'd made the decision to move to ChemAxon's data cartridge. It wasn't powered by that, and we wanted consistency. So we wanted to start thinking, how do we change and move to what was at the time we were considering a service option. So we first began talking about this as a SaaS implementation, and we first of all decided to go with an existing vendor who had a registration system, and we try and work with them to make it a service. For many reasons, that all fell apart. The biggest one was we never got agreement from legal for liability terms that wouldn't have broken the company we were trying to work with. So we just could never get over that hurdle. The truth is, in 2009, we just were not ready for registration as a service. So we decided we had to find a different approach. We began to look at how we could still get the benefits but use GSK's own hardware, because that was where the liability problem was coming from, putting our corporate compound database and all our new structures out on a hosted environment. So the team that were working on this and working with this external vendor totally got very frustrated, and in their spare time they went and built a registration system with the ChemAxon tools. And they then came back to the people like myself who were trying to direct the strategy and said, look, we've done this. Look, it didn't take us long. Okay, it's a proof of concept, but it didn't take us long and it works. Why wouldn't we want to go with these guys? It'll be even cheaper. And of course, as soon as they said that. So we thought about what would the configuration look like so that we could work with a third party, in this case ChemAxon, with them managing and supporting it, but still using all our own hardware. So we still wanted to get that lower support costs, quicker turnaround of releases, this sort of thing, simplify, well, we wanted the cost down, obviously. And because we realised we couldn't cover the liability issues, we began working with ChemAxon, and March 11, so you get a feeling for the timeline now here, that was only a year or so ago that we said, okay, we'll like to work with you guys. And this is trying to come up with a rough picture of where we got to. So if this huge, great, yellowy box represents the Fortress GSK, what we did was built another firewall and put the ChemAxon service behind that and maintained all of the GSK internal processes, so these little things are quite hard to read, aren't they? So our clients for registering compounds were going through a web service into it. Our registrars could still talk to it, and then the data that came out we pumped into data stage, and it fed a load of downstream systems with a load of GSK acronyms. But needless to say, this is our, although this is our authoritative data source for effectively structure and ID, this is our authoritative query source, this operational data store, the chemistry operational data store here. So all of our web services that are going and querying and looking for chemistry operational data, they look here, and this part here is all accessible by ChemAxon, who can basically, the plan is basically manage it as if it were a service. One of the things we tried to do, or one of the things I kept saying to the team was, can you make sure that all these links here, imagine they're all elastic, and this is actually, in the end, going to move out to a hosted solution. How will it work? Keep it so it does work like that. How am I doing for time? Am I? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. So that's effectively what we've got to. Let's try and cover probably the more important slide. So where are we today? The collaboration's coming to its final stages at the moment, and we rolled the version of the product, and the first actual real users was on the 19th of March. So considering we signed that contract, effectively it was the end of March 11, obviously we'd done a bit of that pre-work, we had a first cut of the version. To actually come up with an enterprise small molecule registration system in a year that works is a miracle, to be honest. We've turned off the legacy registration system. We've actually retired a vast majority of the hardware. We have got one little bit of it still in operation, not because we're using it, but because we're still doing testing. So we're saying, okay, did it look different in the old system? We're expected to go live with the last of the product releases from Ákos's team in June. So where next? What we'd actually like to do is to increase the number of compounds which we register automatically. We choose at the moment a collection of business rules that only allow about 50% of the compounds that get registered to go through automatically. And Ákos will show how this works and the staging areas that are in place. We'd actually like to increase that number. Now, we could just slacken off some of the business rules and allow them to go through. But what we want to do is to give the scientists more feedback. So how do we actually give the scientists feedback when they're trying to register something that actually they've not put quite enough information in here? They've not fully defined some of the stereochemistry. And they're the sort of typical compounds that we don't automatically register. Things with multiple chiral centres. We get registrars to check them. We'd like to move away from that. I think we're probably one of the last big pharma who haven't moved away from that. Talking to my sort of colleagues in Pfizer and in Merck and all the rest of it, they're all moving to this. The scientists own the quality of the registrations, not the registrar. So what we're actually thinking is, how do we get to high numbers of fully automated, and how do we effectively give feedback back to users? I believe the biggest problem is now business change, not technology. Right, last slide for my group. Here's the acknowledgements. We've got a couple of the well, Paul was the tech lead. Actually, Shane took over as tech lead. Matt's the project manager. Matt Jones, project manager. Matt Biggs is one of our developers. And Rama is one of the registrars, so he's the key registrar user. And Charlie works in our IT group. He's the business analyst. And I think, Ákos, you've got the same for your team. So.
Great, thank you.
Right, okay, so I will now hand over to Ákos for his part of the talk, and we'll try and take questions at the end, if that's okay.
Okay, so my part is about really showing the features and give a live demo in this short time. So I will just cover the main features, and then a single slide at the end after the demo about future plans. How do we respond to the needs, the further needs of GSK and other clients? So this slide is actually about, and as I will talk about the service, I'm just focusing on that bottom section that was on Richard's slide. So what the automatic registration from the system point of view or the service point of view is that we have some sources like electronic laboratory notebook or a backloader for SD file loading, or a single form web registration. And then all these are by a service poller converted to the input format, which then is submitted to the registration service. It's a web service, and then the registration service will decide if it's unique or not, generate the registration ID, and make the whole compound ready for the downstream service that will then populate to the databases, as Richard mentioned. So basically, and of course, if something fails automatically to be automatically registered, then it falls to the staging area where the registrar picks up. And then so the challenge and the final goal of course, to make the automatic registration percentage higher and higher. And for that, we have a lot of different tools. And I really wanted to detail this process for you to understand what happens inside. So here's the input coming, and so this one basically, the first step is just there are some checks for the validity of ID, external IDs. Then the standardization happens, so converting the structure to the form as like nitro groups and things like that to the proper form. Then the structure is analyzed for the presence of salt or solvate structures inside the structure file, because salt information should come also additionally for the different forms of the structure. And you can see these yellow arrows. So if there is an issue which is according to the business logic set for that source, so this can be different for the electronic laboratory notebook, which is coming from a chemist, and different for a registrar, if the registrar is registering a compound. So registrar can push through things even though from the ELMB is not automatically registered. Okay, so these yellow line shows if something cannot be automatically registered, then it falls to the staging area. Okay, so the next step is a structure quality checks. Using the majority of these checks are using the structure checker, our structure checker tool, but there are some hard-coded additional checks. But here again, the most important to move everything to the structure checker concept, because it's, as I will talk about later, is configurable easily. And additional structure checkers, the difference between these two, that there are no fixers for these. These are just checks. If you find like a guanidine substructure, then it falls to the staging area. Then the registrar picks up and communicate with the chemist and tries to fix it. But for these structure checkers, like stereo checks, chiral center checks, or double bond, things like that, these checkers can be automatically fixed. So if for that specific source, the logic is that, for example, an unmarked chiral center should be converted to unknown structure, then the wedge bond and the enhanced stereo flag is automatically added, and it will not fall to the staging area. It goes through. Okay, if there's no fix, so this cannot be fixed automatically, then it goes to the staging area and waits for the registrar, that the registrar picks up and fix it. Okay, and the very last part is this match service. So when it went through on everything, then there are different matches, like the structure match, of course, and some extra metadata match. I will talk about that, stereo match, tautomer match, and so on. If the setting is for that source is that, for example, from that source you cannot register a tautomer automatically, then it falls to the staging area, or the same with stereo information. Okay, and then you generate the IDs and the parent, version, and lot. This is three hierarchy level. You generate the IDs and versions and lots automatically based on this logic. Okay. Oops. So very quickly about the features. So we can store single and multi-component compounds. So in case of singles, we can have the different salt and solvate forms recognized. We can register alternates, formulations, and mixtures. So the alternates is just, I don't know which is the structure, so I draw both structures. And formulations, I mix with definite percentages. In case of mixtures, I have ranges to specify. This is, for example, a formulation with a salt here in this snapshot. Salts and solvates are stored in an internal dictionary, And as I mentioned, they are automatically recognized if in the structure. And both the parent and the salt can have a multiplicity which can be set, and then it is displayed with this bracketed representation. Okay, so just one more information, that isotopes are different versions of the same parent. So if you have any isotopic information, it creates a new version under the parent. Just a quick slide about the validation. So the structure checkers, which is very important, can be configured, for example, using the structure checker GUI. So you can add your checkers what you want, and then you can set the order and save the XML file, and then you can store this on the server. And you can have different configuration files for different sources. The staging area. This is which was a very important requirement from GSK, because registrars are the final points. Right? We used to refer to them as GADs for the compound entities, because they can pick up and change the structure and then say finally, okay, this is this and not that. And each registrar has a my staging area. So whenever a registrar comes in, logs into the system, then the first page that is displayed is my staging. Of course, can browse the old submissions or unassigned submissions and pick up something which is not assigned to him or her yet, and then work on it. Okay, and then the other registrar will get a warning if they want to work on the same issue. Okay, this is searchable, and you can pick up multiple items at the same time. Then you can, for example, in this screenshot, you can see that there are several items opened up for a bulk registration. And I will demo this. Here are the checkers and fixers, and you can change these fixes, switches, we call them, and then you can automatically try to register whatever you can using the different settings. Okay. And of course, when it goes through all of these checks, the match service is the heart is responsible for where to put this structure. Is it a duplicate of something or just a match? So, for example, here you can see a tautomer match, and if you are in a staging area, then you have a link, a button that you can click and see what are the possible hits. So it goes through the same steps, but not register. And if you register, then you have a match list where you can choose between unique, replace, and accept options. So, for example, if this NO form is going to be registered and this is found, if I say accept, then it will go under this structure. If I say replace, then it will go to the same tree, but also replace the structure and any versions. Okay, so I have 5 minutes. Okay, and then of course you can say I want to register as unique, because this is, although the ChemAxon tool said it's a potential tautomer, I don't think so, because analytic results say it's not. So I register as unique. Okay, we can amend a lot of things: structure, metadata, the component numbers, percentages, everything. I try to cover that in the demo if I have time. And then, of course, whatever you... So this is the amendment page. You can see the tree here, the parent, versions, different versions, and the different lots. Okay? And then you can change the solvate information, and you have a lot of possibilities, so you can change its restriction level or structure, and so on. Whatever you amend, it's audited. So it goes to the history, and you can go back and search for an ID. And of course, whenever you do something, this page is shown, the last item is shown for you, that this is what you did. And then if you go to the history page, then you can search for the whole history of a record. Okay. And there's a search client. So you can, if you don't want to register something, just searching for something, you can do this from the GUI. But actually, it's not the most important part. And that is not ready yet. We will be able to export the results to a file. And now the demo. this is in my computer. So I log in as admin. Okay, so I logged in, and the first page I see my staging. So these are the items I already picked up and wanted to work. I wanted to fix these structures. You can see what was the problem with these structures with a simple and a detailed message. The resolution is too low now. So, but you can see that, for example, at this item, an existing tautomer of the parent structure was found, or in another case, this one has a charge balance problem. Let's see that this one was parent tautomer match. So let's see this structure then. Actually, this is the same example I showed. So I see that this is the structure. Okay, what is the issue? I can click on the show possible hits, and then you see this. And then now I don't have any actions. This just shows me my resolution is bad. Sorry. But if I want to register, then I can register it, and then I can say register as unique, accept or replace. If I say accept, then it tells me the ID, and then if I want, I can go and view immediately on the submission page. So you can see that there was maybe I decreased a little bit this. So this is the amendment page. You can see that all the potential actions. You can change the structure if you want. If I change in the lot level, then it will take out to another item. If I change on the version level, then since this is the only version of this parent, then it will just simply update the tree. And of course, I can change the structure on the parent level as well. Okay. Just see the other things in a. This is a page which is not available in the production, but it's very good for us for testing. So this is why we created this page. But it is similar to the web form-based web registration page. So like for testing purpose, I just generate some fake but unique IDs, and so let's see that if I register something, okay, let's register this one. So it's successful. It's got the parent compound number is GSK29. The compound number is the version is 29A. I don't want to see this now on an amendment, but rather change to a tautomer. I generate new IDs, of course. These are coming from the with the input. So in the reality, it's just now it's a kind of mimicking what happens. If I want to register this, it tells me the registration failed, because of course you can immediately go to the fixing page, and it tells me that an existing tautomer parent structure was found in the database, of course, because I registered before. So it warns me that I want to register a lot, because for some sources it's not allowed to register a new lot of an existing compound, but the registrar can do this. Okay, this is the only I can accept, and it goes in, and I can see this on the amendment page. So basically, this is it. Just quickly about some additional things, some administration page to manage the sold solvate database, or delete a submission, or change the restriction for a whole list of compounds. You can search the salts. Of course, now this is just I just added some salts for the demo, but of course it's an extensive salt solvate dictionary in case of GSK. The audit, I can maybe search for GSK3. So this is, for example, an audit. It starts with so the initial registration happened at this time, then there was a change, and then after another change. So it shows what happened with this whole tree. So the version D was moved to GSK4A, and then version A a lot from version A was moved to 4B. Okay? Everything, every amendment action is audited in the same way. And here's the search page. You can change. You can select from substructure, exact structure. You can. It's my Java console. Okay, then it gives the hits. And you can select tautomer and 2D patches. Okay, so I had this much time for the demo only, but if anyone is interested, I can show this system live. And just a few words about it. Actually, this is the same. So our goal is the same, that quite same that what is GSK's goal, except that we would like to make it configurable for other users. So all those points where the business logic should be configurable, we want to do that, and make it easy to configure the system. And the biggest goal is to have automatic registration and automatic interaction with the chemist, make it easier and give more roles to the chemist, to not just the registrar, but the chemist can fix an issue. So, and I cannot go through every one of our team, but here's the group. Actually, John left the company, and also Attila, but Nikki came as a tester. So this is our Scrum team. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, either to Richard or me.
So you haven't talked about microstructures. Is the system capable of registering microstructures? Okay,
it's a very good question. The goal was also for GSK. It's a need to be able to handle small microstructures in this aspect. So not a huge microstructure or virtual libraries yet, but small microstructures. And in the second phase of the project, we will implement this capability. Basically, we will enumerate these libraries on the fly and give them a common ID, but you can find therefore all elements of the library and the microstructure as well. But currently the structure table cannot handle microstructure, so we need an extra table for handling. But it's among the goals.
Thank you. And thank the speakers.